welcome to Real Flix Reviews Special Edition. In this episode, we're going to be reviewing the movie Hard Surfaces by Zach Brown. And this week, we have the MadTrio movie reviews, Jonathan Charney, James Stevens, and Ryan Preston. We're going to go straight into the description of the show, of movie. A renowned photographer, Adrian's unique style of shooting drug addicts has made him a local celebrity, but there's a problem. Life imitates art as Adrian parties hard with trophy girlfriend Liz to drown out a painful past. When his sister suddenly dies, leaving him sole guardian of the 9-year-old daughter, Adrian must face his deepest secrets. So I'm going to rate this a little higher, maybe more than I should have. I'll give it a 4 to 5. It seems kind of like a Family Channel movie or a Dove Channel movie, but done better. The one thing I would say that I liked about this is actually the choice in colors, because this was actually looked like it was filmed with actual film cameras, like actually quality cameras and not whatever the crap they film made for TV movies in. The editing was really good, I thought. The only issue I had is I thought the acting was a tad bit stiff, especially the main character, but I kind of figured that's what they were going with, kind of a withdrawn, maybe, kind of unsure, a little stiff kind of character.
Well, actually, I would agree, but take it a little bit further, and I would actually give this one as well, actually, a 4 out of 5. I have my reasons, and I'll get into those in a little bit. The acting bothered me for at least the first 3/4 of the film because everyone, the little girl as well, his girlfriend, his best friend, who actually is the director and writer. I actually want to give him actually credit because he was the most, I would say the director playing Donnie Price was the best actor, in this film. And
but hold on a timeout. I completely agree. If the writer director of the guy was actually Yoga Guy, he was the best actor in this movie. But
but what I'm going to go into is the acting took a drastic turn when Zach Brown playing Donnie Price confronted Adrian Jacobs, played by Sean Pyfrom, when they were on the couch. When he was kind of doing his own intervention type thing where he was confronting him, calling him out on when he lost custody of the girl. That scene right there when they were on the couch in that room.
You say like the chapter 3.
Yeah, I would say about 3/4. So about chapter 3, I guess, or whatever you want to say. Anyways, once that scene happened, Adrian Jacobs' character basically changed, became a more fleshed out, better actor after that scene, which I don't know if, as you said, I don't know if it was the way that they were going for or what, but the girlfriend as well, she, I wouldn't say her acting changed. She wasn't much in the last section of the film, but that, because the acting, it really took me out in the beginning of the film.
Because that's what I really thought at first was he was really kind of unsure of everything. Like once he got the girl, I thought he was kind of withdrawn because there were scenes where the actor did really well. The scenes where he was taking pictures of the kids playing in that playground or the statue. He did really well in that scene. It was a very fleshed out character, and that's when I thought went away from that. That was his internal struggle, the kind of, I guess the best way to say he was monotone because of the drugs. And as you go on, especially when his best friend, kind of said, no, I'm not doing this. No, I'm not going to do that. That's when I thought that he did really well on that transition from, okay, now I have to take personal responsibility for myself. Yeah.
And looking at IMDb, it basically is the director is the guy who played his best friend. Now, what I actually want to say about the film, why I'm rating it so high, is because I liked how original of a screenplay this was.
Yeah, no, I actually agree. That's one of the reasons, and it didn't mean it to sound as much of a crack as it probably came out with as saying like, oh, it's like a Family Channel movie, because it
It's a feel-good movie.
Yeah, it's a feel-good movie. It's a typical, I'd say, redemption type of film. As you know, you have this guy who's, you know, at the highest of highs, and then, you know, it's the typical story that way. But I agree. I thought the writing, I thought it was done better than any that I've seen in the last decade.
Well, I liked the original, even on the type of photography that the guy was doing, the art scheme he was going with was, you know, he was photographing basically the sober drug addict into the high drug addict into the coming down drug addict. That's what his photography
that was well
portfolio
done.
Was.
I love the director's
choice.
I love the director's choice in that, because everybody else is doing like landscapes and mountains, and you get to see. That's also the reason I love that too, is because, and this is interpolating everything, because I don't think it really says that you know, he takes photos of all these drug addicts and kind of maybe slowly gets into the drugs because it's around it, and then this whole thing happens because of it. And I thought that's a genius way to actually add substance to a movie, but without necessarily saying like how this happened. I also love the inclusion of kind of the girlfriend. I love the part in the movie where she says, I really wanted to have a child. And I love the fact that was only probably because, in my opinion, is she really loved him. Yeah. And she saw how he was kind of changing his filter. His personality was the fact that I have a daughter.
Yeah. I also did like it was kind of like not just kind of thrown out there, but you know, the fact that he was the sperm donor for his sister.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, but you know, I kind of like that as well, that it actually is his biological daughter type thing.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, not many twists at this point in my life actually shock me. Most of the time I think twists like, oh, that was obvious. And I'll be honest, it wasn't completely surprising, because they do kind of foreshadow it having that box. But that was a nice touch.
Yeah, it really was.
That was a brilliant touch, even including having the fact that his sister and her wife said, "You got to move out of the area, never come back again," type of thing.
That was interesting.
Like, that's a great touch of having of starting out with having no familiar ties. Like, she knows this guy exists, but he's not in her orbit, and vice versa.
Yeah, but honestly, I it's not a film that, if, as we mentioned before, back in like the Blockbuster days or something, that I would read the back of the box or the IMDb description and kind of be like, oh yeah, this is one I want to watch. But as I said, as far as what we've seen as films coming out, and I haven't really looked at the indie films in quite a while either, but, you know, to me, it's one that, you know, I mean, it's a decent story, and I enjoyed it as being more of like not so much a cookie cutter type of thing.
I would say this is one of the indie films, at least that I call indie films, that I was glad for seeing, but like you, I would have never picked it up, because there's so many films that have this like redemption story. Even the Avengers in some way is basically a redemption style story. But I love the twist on it. I actually love the fact that this guy took a very typical story basically a very typical story throughout literature, and figured out how to add just enough of his personal touches, personal twists, that actually made it really good. Because I don't see too many people that are able to do that. Because if you take a look at the Three Musketeers that had the chick from Resident Evil in it.
Oh, was that the Musketeer?
No, it was the Three Musketeers, I think, because the Musketeer was the Kung Fu one.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And that was a twist on an old story, and it was really badly done. This one is a twist on an old story, and was really well laid out. Amazing I thought the directing was really amazing on it. The cinematography was beautiful.
It really was. It was a very crisp cinematography. Even some of the sections and choices for the drug scenes were actually really well done, as far as, you know, like the kind of like how the high takes its course and things like that. It was decently done.
Oh, I even like the section when his drink got drugged.
Oh yeah,
I liked
roofied.
Yeah, that part I thought was amazing because this was like the tides kind of turned. It was kind of like, okay, now he's kind of reaping what he sowed a little bit. And it's also a great kind of way to kind of forcing the story to evolve from him being a partier to him realizing I have an issue, which played off perfectly down the line when his friend was on the couch saying, I'm done with your shit.
Yeah.
Brilliant movie. I really thought this was really well done. I'll stick to my 4 out of 5 rating. Yeah. I'm really looking forward. I'll have to pay more attention to what the director does. It's Zach Brown?
Yeah.
I liked it. I mean, this was a really good movie.
Yeah, I agree as well. I think, as far as I'm concerned, it was a nice kind of refresher from our hiatus to come back to something that, like this, I wouldn't have really, it wasn't on my radar.
No, and it really is nice to get away from, I'll be honest, all these AAA titles that just I'm tired of. Like, I'm tired of superhero movies. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of that. It's really nice to come to a movie that I don't have any expectations of.
Yeah.
I love the fact that I'm coming from a fresh start. Even reading the description, it doesn't give you, I mean, it taints it a little bit one way versus another, and I'm not using taint in a negative, but I like the movie. A strong 4 to 5 for me. James says a 4 to 5. Just for a note, we'll have Real Flix Reviews special editions kind of sprinkled throughout the years, probably as movies kind of float our direction. We were asked to review this movie, and for the people who asked us to review this, I thank you. Especially thank you for putting this on our radar.
Yeah.
Absolutely love the movie.
And as far as I'm concerned, he's won Best Director, Best Screenplay, and Best First Feature for the same movie, and I think it's all well deserved.
Yeah, I hope if you're out there, Zach Brown, we loved it.
Yeah, very well done.
And that the two of us are incredibly jaded when it comes to movies, so to get us to say anything of high notes is saying something, because during what we jokingly call the canon of Real Flix Reviews, there were not too many 5 out of 5s. Very few 4 to 4s, actually.
Yeah, so very few that John and I ever agree on.
This is true. as I'm the nice one out of the group.
Yeah.
So
usually I'm the asshole. Which...
As always, thank you for listening.
Goodbye.